Greetings and welcome to another edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook, and I've got some entertainment world news for you, and I want to jump right into that. Being that it's now November 13th as I record this, both the Xbox Series X and the Sony PlayStation 5 have come out, and I have not purchased either one because I am broke. But they are out finally. People have, of course, acquired them. And the shenanigans have already begun, my friends. Apparently, someone who purchased an Xbox Series X, which I guess stands on end so that the vents are at the top, at least in one configuration. And this person blew, I guess, vape pen smoke into the vents at the top while the system was on or before turning it on, at which point the fans that obviously exist in the machine to keep it cool internally blew the smoke back out, as it would. And they filmed this, or taped it, I should say, and tried to make off like, oh, my Xbox Series X is on fire. It's short-circuited. It's burning. It's blowing smoke. The video went viral, but it didn't take Microsoft, or Xbox, I should say, long to figure out that this was a hoax. And they said, we can't believe we have to say this, but do not blow vape smoke into your Xbox X unit, please. So there you have it, my friends. So far, nothing like this has happened with the PS5, but one suspects that such shenanigans are not far off from occurring. BioWare is in early development on a game in the Mass Effect franchise, a studio general manager Casey Hudson confirmed in a blog post celebrating N7 Day. Hudson said that the next Mass Effect is being created by a veteran team at the studio, but she offered very little in the way of new details. She said, a veteran team has been working hard, envisioning the next chapter of the Mass Effect universe. We are in early stages on the project and can't say any more just yet, but we're looking forward to sharing our vision for where we will be going next. Now, BioWare did release a piece of artwork that appears to be associated with the new Mass Effect. It's a painting of a ship possibly known as the Mud Skipper based on the file name of the painting. The most recent game in the Mass Effect franchise, which was Mass Effect Andromeda, and it came out in 2017. It was coolly received by critics as well as fans. I liked it a lot. BioWare also announced a remaster of the first three games in the franchise, which is going to be called Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which is going to be on consoles and PC in the spring of 2021. So that's interesting. I don't think I would bother playing a remastered version of any of the first three games. And, Andromeda was kind of a one and done as well. But it'll be interesting to see the new game, Mass Effect. I've always liked Mass Effect. I haven't had, any disappointments or issues with the series, though others have. But hey, we'll have to see. I'm just glad they're keeping with the property because, I've always enjoyed it. So more Mass Effect is good in my book. So depending on where you are in the country, this next bit of entertainment news might mean something to you and it might not. But the Aldi supermarket chain, which where I am in Rhode Island, we didn't have until the last couple of years, though it was elsewhere in the country before that, has a new ad campaign for the Christmas holiday. And it features Call Meany, Star Trek, TNG and Deep Space Nine veteran, as, of all people, Santa Claus. So that's out there, and we're going to show a little bit of it to you.
Kevin the Carrot, what are you doing here?
Santa.
Let's get you home. I have an idea.
Ooh, hedgehog. Full moon tonight. Daddy!
The end of the story shows now more than ever. There's nothing quite like Christmas together. Happy Christmas, everyone.
But Call Meany as Santa Claus. Not something I ever thought, would occur, but there you have it. It's now occurred. Arrow star Stephen Amell is not happy about the CW's apparent decision to change the name of the Arrowverse, which is the name for the collective shows they have there that take place in the DC universe, to the CW verse. Of course, he helped launch the channel's interconnected DC universe in 2012, and arguably the universe on the CW, the DC universe on the CW, wouldn't be possible if it weren't for Arrow. Amell recently appeared on Michael Rosenbaum's Inside of You podcast, and the subject did come up about the name change. And at first, Amell said that the possibility of the Arrowverse being called the CW verse didn't really sit well with him. In fact, he said it fucking pissed me off. At which he also laughed after saying it. He also seemed to indicate that, he thinks the change comes from a marketing department that is trying to create content where they don't really have any. And I don't really know why he would say that. I guess because they don't have anything out at the moment, or as soon as they would have liked at this time of the year because of the pandemic. But he went on to explain where his frustration with the decision comes from. He said, I don't care if they stop calling it the Arrowverse, but you don't have to, come up with a new name. And he said, I'm allowed to complain about that a little bit. I don't really know what he means by that. If you're not going to call it the Arrowverse, how are you going to refer to it? You're just going to say, the group of shows on the CW that center on the DC universe. No one's going to say that. They're going to come up with a name for it. I could see where he's a little frustrated, but the show is over. It doesn't air anymore. It's not part of the group of shows in the DC universe that are on the CW. So why would they still refer to it as that? It doesn't make sense. The CW verse makes more sense. And the truth is, the fans probably aren't going to stop calling it the Arrowverse. The fans are going to refer to it that way. So I don't know. I don't think it should bother him all that much. But again, I can see his point. So it's just one of those things. The show is over, and the network is moving on, and I think he should too. Maybe he will, sooner rather than later. One hopes. I guess they almost were going to do a season 9 of Arrow, but ended up not doing it. I don't know where I read that, but I think that would have been a bad idea, because at season 8, it was already sort of past the point where it had, jumped the shark, as they say. AMC has released a new trailer for The Walking Dead Season 10 Part B. So let's just take a look at that.
The Walking Dead, episode Home Sweet Home. All right, so here we go.
Hey, Maggie.
Clear out.
I didn't escape, if that's what you're thinking.
There's one other thing you should know. Negan was with the Whisperers that night. I wanted you to hear it from me because...
It was you? You let him out?
we were gonna lose everything. Negan's the reason we didn't.
But nothing's decided with Negan. You can come home.
The truth is I left home because I didn't want Negan taking up any more space in my head, and I realized I wasn't ready to bring Herschel back to that. And the next morning we found Elijah and a whole community that needed us as much as we needed them. And I felt like it was meant to be.
And what Carol did
It was what she felt she needed to do. I get it. God only knows what I'd have done if I was there. But I wasn't.
She looks like she wants to say more, but she doesn't. Instead, she walks off.
She's never gonna come around on him, you know.
One of you.
Carol considers this. Finally, she shrugs.
But it's good to see her.
End of Act 2.
That looks pretty good. They're going to obviously feature Maggie again, finally. So hopefully we'll get to see, more about where she's been since she was last featured on the show. and I'm always up for some Walking Dead, so I'm looking forward to that. In other entertainment news, the first images from the Karen Gillan action movie Gunpowder Milkshake have been released, showing the former Doctor Who star in her new role as a ruthless assassin. That would sort of be a new role for her. She's never done anything like that. Gillan plays Sam, the abandoned daughter of an elite hitwoman named Scarlet, who's going to be played by Lena Headey from Game of Thrones, which is really cool. I've always liked her. She was also in the Terminator TV show. And she will have been raised by a dangerous crime syndicate known only as The Firm. She follows in her mother's footsteps to become a reputable operative herself, working exclusively for The Firm and cleaning up any messes that threaten its overall goals. That is, until the life of an innocent 8-year-old girl is put in the crosshairs, prompting Sam to take a stand and fight back against the nefarious aims of her bosses. She unites with her estranged mother and 3 fellow assassins, played by Angela Bassett, who was in Black Panther, Carlo Gugino, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, who was in Watchmen, and Michelle Yeoh of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Star Trek Discovery, to take on the Firm's army of henchmen. This film finished shooting before the pandemic, and it's currently scheduled for a cinematic release on an unspecified date in 2021. I'm looking forward to seeing that movie. I hadn't heard of it before I saw this article, but I do want to see it. I like all those stars, and it sounds like an interesting premise. And a final bit of entertainment news for this video. I want to point out that Constantine 2 is apparently in the works, starring Keanu Reeves and Peter Stormare, who played Lucifer in the original film and who has, it seems, cemented some rumors that this movie's going to take place. They had been rumors for a long time, which were kind of squashed when it came out that J.J. Abrams was producing a Constantine reboot at WB. But Stormare has seemingly confirmed that Constantine 2 is in fact happening. He posted an image of himself as Lucifer from the first Constantine on Instagram with an accompanying caption that said "sequel in the works," which would be very cool. That movie didn't do so great, but it has become a cult classic. It's definitely a fan favorite. My wife and I have seen it a bunch of times, really enjoy it. I played the video game, which again did not blow anyone's socks off, but it was decent. So we're huge Constantine fans. My wife is an even bigger fan of the Constantine that appears in the CW shows. She really likes that actor in the part because his portrayal is closer to that of the depiction of the character in the source material. But still, we both love the Keanu Reeves version, and we're looking forward to that. And, the JJ version might still come out. Hopefully their version will be close to the source material. And she's really hoping, my wife, that they cast the actor from, the standalone series that was briefly on NBC and the CW show Legends of Tomorrow. Anyway, that's it from me for now. I will be back in the next couple of days with my review of the second season of The Mandalorian, so far. And hopefully I'm going to be bringing someone in to talk about that with me. But that's just a couple days away, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Remember to subscribe if you haven't. I could really use the support, and give it a like. Hey, make a comment. I'd love to know what you're thinking. I usually reply, and I don't bite anyone's head off, usually, as long as I've been fed recently. But that's it. So I bid you farewell with my customary peace and long life.
Thank you.